My name is MakisAntzoulatos. I live in Boston, and I guess I first went to the Harbor Islands. I went to Long Island. I used to work at the Shattuck shelter doing case management and advocacy for people who were having a hard time because of their criminal records, homeless people that were having a hard time because of their criminal records. And I would do outreach at all the emergency shelters in Boston, and so I was given a list of shelters to go to. And then I was told that there's this place called Long Island, and that it's in Boston, but that you have to drive way out to Quincy to get there. And so I guess one Thursday night I just embarked for the first time, and you drive way out to Quincy down this long road, and it sort of gets weird and creepier, and there's some dilapidated brick structures that you don't know what they are at first, and then you get to this bridge, and the sort of fateful drive is wondering if the bridge is going to stand up the whole time. And that was when I first went out there, and of course, Long Island has a large number of residential treatment programs for substance abuse. It has a large emergency shelter for homeless adults that I think has a couple hundred beds. And it has a DMH facility. And then it has some other weird things. There's the firemen's sort of practice area. I believe there's an old shooting range there for the police department. So I was always struck that Long Island, in a lot of ways, had these things that no one else wanted around them, whether it was shooting ranges or homeless shelters. And then historically, it was a quarantine facility for people with communicable diseases. So I guess I was always disturbed by the fact that we took this place that 100 years ago we would quarantine people with communicable diseases and decided that's where we want to put our homeless population. And I always was troubled with it because at the same time it's, the city's battling, trying to figure out where can you build somewhere that will hold 300 homeless adults that isn't going to cause a sort of community uproar. But I started talking to homeless people about how you get out there, and it was sad because people would, you'd wait in line for the bus on Mass Ave and Albany Street at 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon, and you'd get on these city buses and they would drive you all the way out there, and I think a lot of people felt isolated and kind of alone out there, and you'd spend the night there, and then you'd get up in the morning and get back on this bus and get hauled back into the city. And I don't know, I guess I always wondered if anyone that was sort of driving through Quincy ever wondered what these MBTA buses were doing, driving through their city, and if they knew that they were just filled with a bunch of people that were too poor to live in Boston, so they didn't have homes and they got shipped out to an island. So that's my experience with the Harbor Islands, at least initially. And I was always sort of fascinated with all these sort of decrepit buildings that were falling around on Long Island, so there'd be sort of a treatment center and then some building that hadn't been used in 50 or 60 years. And then I started visiting the Harbor Islands sort of as a tourist or a guest, and going to Spectacle Island and going to the beach with my family and my kids and my kid and my wife. And so it's weird because you're out there with these people and they're sort of soaking in the beauty of the Boston Harbor, and I don't think they often realize that one of those islands out there that you're looking at is where there's 300 homeless people that sleep every night. And the last time I was on Spectacle Island at the beach, I realized that we were walking around Spectacle Island, and I realized that Long Island actually has a beautiful beach on the back side of it that I've never seen or known about. And I just got sad because I think that if we have such poor facilities for our homeless people that we have to ship them out, an hour away onto an island, we should let them use the beach. But I don't think they're allowed to. So I guess that's how I got acquainted with the islands, and that's my experience out there.